Hi there, Chris, Chap and the Chap, Motolegends. Today I want to talk about a new heated jacket from the Dutch brand Macna. It's called the Centre jacket. Heated clothing is one of those Marmite subjects. Some people love heated clothing, some people hate it. Me, I absolutely hate Marmite. I can't stand the stuff, but I simply love heated biking gear. But whereas Marmite is demonstrably and provably absolutely disgusting, the antipathy that a lot of bikers have towards heated gear, I feel, is little more than ill-informed prejudice. Funnily enough, people who have come to biking more recently seem to be more open to the concept of heated gear, but the old guard simply will not accept it. It has to be acknowledged that biking has changed over the years. In the olden days, you became a biker to join this hard-living fraternity. Bikers were tough guys. They stood apart from the crowd. When they were riding and it got cold, they just clenched their teeth a little bit. When it was really hot, they just sweated a bit more. And when it rained, guess what? You got wet. But this generation of bikers, in some ways, scorn the idea of being comfortable on the bike. For them, that's not what motorcycling is about. For them, a pair of Levi jeans and open-face helmets and work boots and a set of gardening gloves, and you're good to go. Those were tough guys, and they were not the namby-pambys that we are perhaps today. It is true, therefore, one has to admit that we are probably not as tough as a generation as our fathers, and our fathers weren't as tough as their fathers before them. But we are a product of our time. My granddad, for example, would have choked on his woodbine if anyone had suggested that he needed air conditioning in his old van. Me, I find it a hardship if I'm asked to drive a car without heated seats and a heated steering wheel. And sometimes on a really cold morning, I'll go on the app and I'll make sure that the temperature in the car is up to scratch before I go out of the house. But there is a serious point here. Motorcycling can be horribly dangerous. Obviously, it can be great fun, but biking is not without its hazards. The bikes we ride, modern bikes, can accelerate within a couple of seconds the kind of speeds that frankly we rarely see when driving a car. Yet we rely for our purchase with the ground on a couple of bits of rubber about an inch wide. If it does go wrong, we're not restrained by a safety belt, and our crumple zone is this, our bodies. So in our view, it's vitally important that when riding a bike, you can give your full concentration to the road and what's going on around you. And we don't care how good a rider you are, how long you've been riding, when your last accident was, how long ago that was, how many awards or badges you've got from the IAM. If you're not comfortable when you're riding the bike, you will not be riding well, you will not be riding to your full potential. If you are shivering with cold, if you can't feel your fingers, if parts of your body have gone numb because of a lack of blood flow, you are quickly becoming a danger not only to yourself, but to other road users. If when you're riding a bike, your main preoccupation is how bloody cold you are, it's just a little bit dumb and, in our view, a tad arrogant. And this way of thinking perhaps goes somewhere towards explaining why we here at Motolegends have become such fans of heated bike gear. Common refrain when we are initiating conversations with motorcyclists about heated gear is something like, "Oh, I can't be bothered with all that faff." To tell the truth, we think that's a load of old nonsense. These days, heated gear is so easy to use. For some years, we've worked with this brand. It's an American brand, Warm and Safe. We took it on because everyone told us it's the best, and we think it is. But it's comfortable, lightweight, easy to wear, reliable, generates huge amounts of heat, and is very simple. It's got the minimum number of leads and wires. The only challenge in making a jacket like this work is you've got to take a harness and you've got to put it on the terminals of the battery. So there's a positive terminal, there's a negative terminal, there's a lead that comes off that, and that should hang down the left-hand side of the bike. When you want to access the jacket, when you want to power the jacket up, you take this lead out of the pocket. It just sits in the left-hand pocket. You connect it with the lead, and then you take this. This is a Bluetooth controller, so no wires between this and the bike or the jacket, and you just dial in the amount of heat you want, a bit more, a bit less. This is actually a double controller, so this is for someone who wants gloves and pants maybe as well, but you can equally get a single controller. If you've not ridden in something like Warm and Safe, you'd be amazed at just how much heat electric garments can generate. And of course, in that respect, they're very different to base layers. You can have the best base layers on, but all they're doing is keeping in whatever heat your body is generating. And on a cold day, on a bike, sat still on the motorway, you're not generating a lot of heat. But with a heated jacket, something like Warm and Safe, you could ride all day on the motorway at speed, at close to zero temperatures, and still feel as warm as you would be if you were tucked up in bed with the other half doing spoons. And okay, that might not sound like exactly the feeling you want when you want to access the deepest levels of concentration. But on a bike, feeling relaxed and comfortable is exactly what you need. So our view is, there is no faff with heated gear. It is just a myth. It is something that people say to avoid having to do something new, to adjusting to different ways of doing things. Now, from where we sit with your bike, adjusting the suspension settings, getting the traction control right, turning the ABS on and off, trying to get the darn TFT to work, those elements, they are a faff. Heated gear, not so much. As I've intimated already, we here at Motolegends love warm and safe, but there's a new kid on the block. Technically speaking, it's not a new kid. This jacket is the Centre jacket from Macna. It's not totally new to the market. It's quite new to Motolegends. But we think that their jacket, this jacket, is even easier, lighter and more comfortable than the warm and safe jacket. I will come back to this, but frankly, if you're the kind of commuter who gets up at 5:30 in the morning to commute into the centre of London in the middle of winter, this jacket may not generate enough heat. It is not as powerful as the warm and safe jacket. But for many motorcyclists, the Centre is going to be more than up to the job. Whilst I'm on the subject, I should point out that this company does gloves and pants that connect in, but for now, we at Motolegends, we're only going to do the jacket. We think the jacket's the most important part of the package, because what it's trying to do, or what we're trying to do here, is keep the core warm, and if the core is warm, then the rest of the body tends to not get too cold. The jacket itself is super light and stretchy, and it reminds me of nothing more or less than a summer weight Harrington jacket. It really is incredibly comfortable. It weighs no more than your average mid-layer, and if you're off the bike, let's say you take your outer jacket off, you can go into the pub, you can go into the bar, you can go into a restaurant, and there's nothing bikey looking about this jacket at all. It's just a really comfy, lovely to wear jacket. The secret of that comfort is that it's lined in a different way, or the panels are different, because the panels are lightweight aluminium panels that run down the sleeves, down the front and down the back. In a warm and safe, which, as we've said, we think is pretty light and comfortable, way more comfortable than most heated gear. But in warm and safe, you can still feel the wires, the leads running up and down the jacket. You can feel the connectors. But with the Macna jacket, you feel absolutely nothing. It is just a lovely, lightweight jacket. In terms of making it work, you've still got to connect the harness to the battery, so positive terminal, negative terminal. On this version, on the Macna jacket, the lead will come out on the right-hand side rather than the left-hand side that you have with warm and safe. One of the beauties of this system, however, is you do not need to buy a controller. We had the Bluetooth controller, very easy to use with the warm and safe, but you do not need a controller with this at all. All you do, you download the Macna app. And when you want to connect the jacket up to get it going, you bring up the app on the phone. You then press the right button here on the chest. When that lights up and goes pink and blue, then you know that the jacket is talking to the phone. And then all you do is simply, you go onto the screen in front of you, you can move across to get jacket, pants, gloves, whatever, but you find the jacket in this case, and then you decide whether you want heat level 1, heat level 2, heat level 3, heat level 4. Once you've done that, you can forget it, you can ride off feeling just that little bit smug. Now, I have to say, if all of this is too confusing for you, then I have to ask whether really you should be in charge of a modern motorcycle. This really is child's play. But in the interest of balanced reporting, what I want to do now, I'm just going to go on and talk about who this jacket's going to work best for and who it might not work for. Impressed as we are by the Macna jacket, one cannot ignore the fact that it doesn't generate the same levels of heat that you get with warm and safe. The warm and safe is like a wearable furnace. So if you are travelling long distances at motorway speeds at temperatures that are close to 0 degrees, the fact is that the warm and safe is going to be warmer. The warm and safe jacket generates 90 watts of heat. The Macna, a little over half of that. But that half, for most of us, most of the time, is going to be more than enough. This last October, Sarah and I toured France on our new Honda CRF 300s. We were out in all kinds of conditions. Mornings, it was cold, there'd be dew and fog around. We went over some high alpine passes. The temperatures were often down into single figures. I was using my new Macna jacket. Mostly I had the heat turned up at 2, and I think I'm pretty soft. I like to stay warm, but 2 was more than adequate most of the time. I think only once did I go up to 3. I didn't use the highest level 4 at any point. Whilst I'm on the subject of using this system, I'm just going to say that one of the things that I did that I thought was correct, I mounted the phone into an interphone wireless charger. So it was always up there in front of me. It never drained because, of course, it was being charged by the cradle. There was no messing about. The problem with Warm and Safe, if there is a problem, is that it has a large electrical draw. Now, when you're riding along, an engine it's always generating electrical power. But if your accessories, the things that you've got on the bike, are sat nav, fog lights, heated jackets, heated grips and so on, if they are consuming too much power, then you can have a problem, particularly if you're riding at night. The Warm and Safe has a draw of 7.7 amp hours. On a big bike, on say a 500cc bike, anything of that size or larger, there's not really going to be a problem. But if you're on something smaller, 400cc or lower, and that was why I wanted to try this jacket on my new Honda, which is 300cc, but if you're on a smaller jacket, then I think the Macna is going to be the one for you. At maximum still, the Macna jacket generates 50 watts of heat. That is not inconsiderable, and because it fits tight, close to the body, you feel that warmth greatly, far more efficiently than you do in some heated jackets, which are really thick jackets. You're often heating the outside atmosphere. With the Macna, you are heating the body very closely. But the beauty of it is, the Macna jacket draws only 4.1 amp hours. Whilst we're on the subject of comparing the two, the other thing that has to be borne in mind is that the Macna is also quite a bit cheaper. Now, once you've got the single controller, you bought the jacket and the lead and so on with Warm and Safe, you're up to a figure of about £330. I don't think that's a huge amount of money if it makes the difference between cold on the bike and comfortable on the bike, but the Macna comes in at £205 because basically all you're buying is the lead and the jacket. You're not buying a controller, and we think that that is frankly not a lot of money. Let's say you bought it, you tried it and you didn't like it for whatever reason, sell it on eBay. How much out of pocket are you going to be? Not a lot, I would suggest. Let's be clear, here at Motolegends we are not without bias. We simply like heated gear. Like many of our customers, we ride for fun. Many of us here don't need to ride the bike, we've got other forms of transport. We ride when we think it's going to be enjoyable to do so. And heated gear can make a huge difference to that decision. So let's take, for example, a nice, sunny, brisk Sunday morning, autumn morning, or a winter's morning. Many of us might fancy the idea of going out for a ride just for a bit of relaxation, but without a heated jacket, many of us would go, oh, it looks a little bit cold outside, and wouldn't go. Instead, we'll pour another cup of coffee, put some more toast on. But with a heated jacket, we're into a totally different kettle of ball games. But of course, the jacket that we're talking about, the Macna jacket, is going to work equally well for professional riders, for blood runners, for couriers, for commuters and so on. What you need to bear in mind is that if you are, say, commuting into work in the morning, 5 degrees, once you're doing 60 miles an hour at 5 degrees, the body feels that as minus 6 degrees. In anyone's book, that is very cold. And personally, if I was going to be commuting into work, even if I was the kind of commuter who didn't commute in on the coldest days, if I commuted into work, I would not leave home without a jacket like this. I think it would make such a difference. I'd feel more comfortable. I know I'd be a safer rider. However, if you're unsure, why not come and see us yourself here in Guildford? We have a setup here. It's very simple, but you can try on the Warm and Safe jacket, feel what that's like, feel the heat that it generates. You can try on the Macna jacket and you can compare the two. My view is that once you've tried heated, there's no going back. Everything else just seems like second division. But as we say here at Motolegends, the proof of the pudding is in the wearing. If you want to see more heated gear, then visit the website motolegends.com. If you want to learn more about the Macna Centre jacket, then you click on one of the links on the screen. Sometimes they're up there, sometimes they're down there. That will take you directly to the relevant page on our website. When you are there, you can check out the spec in a little bit more detail. You can check availability, and obviously if you want to buy the jacket there and then, you can do that. When you do buy from us, we try to make the process simple, straightforward and risk-free as we possibly can. There's no delivery charge on any item of protected wear that you buy from us. Returns are totally free, and what's more, we give you a full 12 months in which to decide whether you do want to return something to us. We have the best price promise in the business. Now, John Lewis is rightly famed for its never known undersold price promise. We go one stage better. If you can find another retailer selling something that we sell at a price that is lower than ours, we will beat that retailer's price by a full 10%. There are a few terms and conditions attached to what we call our price beat. Nothing particularly onerous, but if you are going to price beat us, I suggest you go over to the website and check out what those terms and conditions are. If in the future you'd like to see bulletins from us about new products, then if you go to the website, top of every page, there's a piece of script that says newsletter sign up. Click on there, within seconds you'll be on business. If however you prefer to get your information videographically, that is to say in this form, then we'll be simply delighted if you want to become a subscriber to our YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking on the button below. Now, this is 2021. Last year, 2020, we gave away to a YouTube subscriber a 125cc Mutt motorcycle that we'd customised to look a little bit like a Steve McQueen desert sled. This year, 2021, we're going a little bit upmarket. We are giving away a 250cc Fantic Scrambler Caballero. But we're not giving it away to a YouTube subscriber, we're giving it away to somebody who follows us on Facebook. So if you want to stand a chance of winning this bike, and we're going to be giving it away just before Christmas, December 2021, then go over to Facebook and obviously follow us. Finally, I'd like to make a play for our little shop here at Motolegends. The shop is based about a mile from the centre of Guildford, a mile from the railway station, and as I've suggested, the shop is small. It's got a small footprint, but it's attached to our warehouse where we have more than £2 million worth of merchandise arranged over 3 floors. Technically, that makes us the second largest motorcycle apparel shop in the country. But we think we are far more than just the amount of stock we have in the building. We're all about service and personal fitting. If you want to check us out, visit Trustpilot. We have the highest 5-star ranking in the business. When you come to see us, we'll serve you only the finest Italian indie coffee, or we'll serve you proper Yorkshire tea in a proper teapot. And who knows, if you're lucky, you might even get to sample one of our delicious motorcycle-shaped shortbread biscuits. Anyway, this has been Chris. I hope to talk to you again soon.